Welcome to the October 13th, 2020 episode of Reactive Consciousness, our in-depth podcast about what happened this week in our lives. I'm your host, vysethebold, and this is...
Lotus Prince.
And we have another wonderful show here. And I also stuck the landing so hard. So hard.
I can confirm.
You can confirm what?
Well, it's based on implication, the content of the previous sentence. This wouldn't just hold up in an essay, but it works in standard vernacular.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh! Is that how the language I've been
the
speaking
red
for my
pen.
entire life works?
Somebody brought their red pen to the podcast.
Yeah, right.
Well, actually, we have kind of a light news week. I don't know if I dug up as much as I could, but some of them are doozies. So
Yeah.
there's some stuff to talk about for sure. Chief of them among them, GameSpot has massive layoffs. And this is happening after a massive acquisition of CBS Media of GameSpot, which is really sucks. I mean, we're more and more seeing the traditional video game website go away, and GameSpot was certainly one of the biggest, along with IGN, and they really got hurt here. And a lot of people are blaming it, of course, on the corporate acquisition. This is the kind of thing that you should always take note of, is whenever there's a gigantic corporate acquisition, people lose jobs. They don't gain them. So it's a lost sum for job opportunity and variety, for sure. So this is what people are talking about when when Disney acquires Fox or something like that. It may seem cool to have certain things like under one umbrella. Microsoft acquiring Bethesda might seem cool, but you have tons and tons of people that lose their jobs due to these kinds of things, because there's a lot of redundancy that happens. Do you have any opinion on this?
No, I mean, pretty much that. I'm rarely a fan of corporations buying other corporations.
Yeah, especially like big things like this. So this is sad, because a lot of people lost their jobs, a lot of people who have been in the industry for a long time, and due to the way that the industry is, there are only very few websites that can generate enough revenue to stay relevant against popular YouTubers and things like that. So it's really kind of a sign of the times. Where are these people going to go? You have somebody with 10 years reviewing experience. Where are they going to go?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like new people are going to go into any of these jobs. If anything pops up, somebody who's been doing it for a long time is always going to snatch it up. So, and nobody's ever replacing them. New people aren't going into this industry. So, in the traditional sense, you of course have plenty of YouTuber reviewers and that kind of thing, and that's all fine and good. But that kind of and Lotus can tell you, like relying on YouTube to be your primary source of your well-being in your life, in terms of like having to fight their algorithms and their ad policies and all this other stuff. It's not exactly the most it has very little of shelf life. It's going to be very fleeting. Even the most popular of YouTubers aren't going to be around forever, making the kind of numbers that they had at one point. You know what I mean?
Yep. I mean, you got to adapt.
Very fleeting.
That's the whole reason people stay popular, is that they catch the new thing when it's new. So they're the only game in town, and then it just picks up from there.
Yeah, and not only that, but they are wise to how the way the system works that's run by the singular company.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't tell you. We've our humble show has been around for a long time, and we don't show up in any searches at all.
Yeah, you have to know the name of our show already.
Yeah,
You're not gonna find it by accident.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
look at that! These people are talking about GameStop. They're the first result on YouTube. Really?
Yeah, I mean that's really a shame considering we don't fit into their algorithm. I've heard a bunch of things concerning that like static screen accounts tend to not do so well.
Yeah, and we also don't have a bullshit title card of our faces going what about like a
with
text
arrows
thing
everywhere with a circle. It's just it kind of stinks, but it's not about quality apparently. But we have our loyal fans, and that's you out there, obviously, because you wouldn't still be here. But this just stinks. These people, some of these people are going to have to try the YouTube thing, and try the YouTube game in order to get some employment. But you're basically a contractor. You're earning ad revenue, and you don't have any benefits or any job security whatsoever.
Oh, hey, just like my real job.
Well, that's a problem in itself as well.
Just like my day job that I've been working for 8 fucking years.
Yeah, there should be a law against that. But anyway,
well, there is, probably. I haven't been working 8 years. I've been working a half a year 16 times.
It's really a sign of the times, and you're far from the only one who's doing that. I mean, it's just the way employment is in America, and it's even worse in the pandemic, and that's for sure. Also involved in this acquisition is Giant Bomb, and a lot of people are really worried about Giant Bomb because Giant Bomb has always gone by the beat of their drum, like by their own drum, and that's how they got popular. Is they did something different, and they also recognized that it was the personalities that they had on staff that made the brand successful. It wasn't the brand itself. Which makes sense when you point it out, but to corporate people, they don't understand that.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, they're like, well, we know the kids like you, but under our umbrella, like, we have our own reputation to maintain, so we want to have you follow X and Y rules. And they're like, the whole reason we're liked is that, like, we did things the way we did them, not the way we're going to change to some other thing.
Yeah. So a lot of people are very worried. Also, like, they the thing is, they kind of escaped CBS Media, and then they got acquired by them again. So they're in a situation where like Jeff Gerstmann, who's the head of Giant Bomb, has to justify to the company that he left in order to start Giant Bomb why Giant Bomb is successful. And I don't envy him at this point because it's talking to corporate people that like just know their own little world is no fun. Take it from somebody who,
like, honestly, like, I don't know how you even like coming from the most boring person alive, I would go mad if my universe were the corporate world. Like, how the hell do you do that?
Oh, it's all politics and machinations and trying to one up on each other, and it's a lot of it. In good environments and good companies, creativity can thrive, but it doesn't always work out that way. I bet you there's a lot of suits that don't give a damn about creativity or quality of things.
Oh, there's a shock. Yeah. The people in charge of corporations aren't the ones making the product, and they sure as hell aren't the game devs and video game corporations. Do you think the CEO of EA knows jack shit about creativity?
No.
He knows numbers.
Yeah. I mean, luckily, you still have, privately held companies like Valve that is run by their old creative team from the people that brought you Half-Life, Valve is
From
still
the people
run by those
who
people.
are not well. I guess they made Alex. I spoke a little too soon.
Well, no,
I was gonna say
they
Half-Life is
produced it. I
yeah.
guess
I was gonna say the people who are no longer providing you Half-Life, but we got Alex.
Yeah, I mean, like, we'll get it when they're ready. I guess it'll happen. But
Half-Life
who the hell
3,
knows? Yeah, maybe.
the thing they released the script for because they weren't gonna finish the game.
No, the person who wrote the script, the prospective script, released that. It wasn't Valve themselves. So,
Okay.
and he had to redact it with character names. Like, he had to change character names after because he got a cease and desist.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
So like
I had this
version
really
of it-
interesting idea where Mr.
Yeah,
Gregory Feynman had to make his way through the
exactly.
Then dimension.
Ronald Ruck and Ricky Rouse are in
Yeah,
that
that's
version
so on point.
of that post nowadays. So
Ricky Rouse and Donald Muck.
but it's a sign of the times. I mean, it's just the way it is, and I feel very badly for them. Kind of in a similar kind of downer kind of thing going on. So the original developers of Indivisible, was it
Lab Zero. Yeah,
Lab Zero.
There was some. I mean, this first part I'm going to mention was old news, but there was some horribly toxic stuff going on within Lab Zero. That basically the person controlling the company was a piece of shit, and every single other person was like, "Oh, this isn't good." So they've divorced themselves from Lab Zero, and they created. This is going to drive me crazy. I just had the name. They created a new company called Future something. But I'll look up what it is, but follow that company. But the problem is that Lab Zero retained the rights to their products, like Skullgirls, for example.
Sure.
So, but yeah, go ahead about this new development.
So, the publisher of it, which is 505 Games of Indivisible,
Future Club is the thing, by the way.
Okay.
Follow Future Club.
Yeah. So the publisher of Indivisible, which is kind of like an indie dev take on Valkyrie Profile.
Yeah.
They have confirmed that they are ceasing production on the game, falling short of a lot of the promises that were made during its Kickstarter campaign,
including some of the higher level perks custom. I think there was some custom characters and stuff like that. So
the biggest thing is the things that people are really upset about are the guest characters.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The backer created characters that. I didn't check the tiers. I just went for the physical box release. But yeah, if you went high enough to have a character in the game, that sucks. You're not gonna get that. And it is understandable why they're not just oh, we're not doing it. We clearly know about the behind the scenes stuff, so it you can't really blame them. It just really sucks.
Yeah. So included in all of these were frequent guest characters Shantae and Shovel Knight, but also Juan from what's that game? Guacamelee, the Drifter from Hyper Light Drifter, and quite a few other ones that I don't recognize in particular. But it just really, really sucks. Oh yeah, Zachosaurus from was it Time Ultra STFU? What's that game?
I don't even know what that is.
Super. Yeah, they made the acronym to be STFU. I forget what it was. It's Super Time Force Ultra. Super Time Force. It was a fun game from a few years ago. Super Time. Yeah, Super Time Force Ultra. This was a pretty cool game. So you would have waves and waves of your characters. like go back in time and then create like a time paradox, and it kind of had like a Metal Slug-ish kind of presentation. But
Okay.
the only way to really beat the level is to have like multiple past incarnations of yourself helping more and more past incarnations of yourself. But yeah. So that was a character that was going to be included. So yeah, it's a big bummer, and plus they they are doing the right thing in getting like the Switch port needs to play some catch up to where the other versions are, because it came out the latest. So they are doing that. They have confirmed that the Switch port will be complete, and they will be doing bug fixes and things like that. But no more creative development to be had. No more campaign DLC or anything cool like that. So it's a big shame. Just like and you could have guessed that all that kind of stuff was going to happen, but it's still a big bummer when reality sets in. Now for some more levity, FIFA 21. Oh man, did you read this?
No, because I thought all FIFA games are the same.
Well, even more so this time around.
Is this another like literal copy paste job like that one NBA game?
Absolutely. So FIFA 21 Legacy Edition for the Switch is exactly the same game with bug fixes as last year's on the Switch. They just updated the roster, and so
honestly, I don't even. Well, no, never mind. I was gonna say I don't know why they keep releasing games when they could just update the one you have, but stupid me, you pay $60 for a new game.
Well, FIFA is like the most popular sports game in
but when
the
it's the same
world.
fucking game every time, just like release like a DLC that updates the roster instead of producing waves of another $60 edition of the thing you programmed 2 years ago.
Well, they know that certain people will just buy it. I mean, like, there are certain people that all they play is FIFA. You have to understand, especially in
but I'm saying, like, just roster
works.
update, done. You got your game, instead of paying $60 for the new old game.
Yeah, well...
I mean, again, stupid me, as long as people keep paying, they'll keep doing this sleazy shit, but it's disappointing.
It really sucks because, the mainline versions, the PS4 version and, the PC version and the Xbox version are all, like, brand new games. They have, engine updates and all the stuff that you want, new mechanics, things like that.
Yeah,
so,
that actually makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. But, this is sleazy, and IGN, in a uncharacteristic, like, awesome move...
uncharacteristic.
Well, IGN,
they have
controversially has had some really bad gaffes in the past, but this is one
I'm still
that like
mad about
everybody.
God Hand and Double Dragon Neon.
Sure, but
that's
Nier,
the biggest controversy.
Nier was the biggest. Was a big
yeah,
one.
Nier was also like, how do you miss like an eighth of your screen
X.
At all times?
Yeah, the big X. X marks the spot on your fucking map. But anyway, this is really, really awesome. So let me read this first the caption to this review. Seeing as EA copy and pasted last year's FIFA onto Switch again this year, once again saying it has the same gameplay without any new development or significant enhancements on its store page for the full price of $50, $49.99.
Oh, excuse me, then $50. That makes it cool.
I've decided to do the same and copy and paste my review from last year.
Oh, nice.
Below as my review for FIFA 21,
That's
but
clever.
With a lower score. It's exactly the same review, but he gave it a lower score. So that
you know what that reminds me of, though? When Resident Evil 4 HD came out and people were giving it like 5s and 6s because it's like whatever year it came out. It's 2014, we're past this. But it's like, yeah, but it's a fucking old game. Like, they didn't just make this.
Yeah, no, you can't judge it on the same like scale. and you can't obviously give it like the same glowing review either.
No, that's true. But I mean, like, if
like,
Ocarina of Time, like, when it was ported to 3DS, like,
it's
that,
like
that
ragging
got
on
1,000
Mario
out of
64
10 every single time.
It's
What?
like ragging on the recent like re-release of Mario 64 and saying the camera is bad. Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, no, that's what I was saying.
had.
Like, when Zelda came out on the 3DS, people flipped out about it, about how, like, oh my god, finally, my favorite game's getting ported. They didn't say, like, oh, this is an old N64 game that hasn't aged well, 3 out of 10.
Yeah. Well, IGN gave this a 2 out of 10, which is brutal.
That's even worse than God Hand. That's incredible.
Well,
I didn't know you could do worse than God Hand and Double
they
Dragon
gave-
Neon, but here we are.
I've seen a -1 review.
What does that even mean?
Yeah.
0 is like there's no game. 1 is like you can't finish the game. Like 1 is like
Yeah.
like
I've seen a
you can't make it
-1.
past the first level. Like 1 is like Tony Hawk 5 like post download, like in a post download world where you literally only have like the tutorial level and level 1 and there's no more game. That's a 1. What the fuck is a -1?
Yeah, it was Mortal Kombat Advance.
Really?
I believe -1 review.
It's a pretty bad game. How bad could you possibly make? I mean, I know fighting games can be infuriating, but like, was there only one character and no enemy? How the fuck do you get a -1 in a Mortal Kombat game?
It was basically Mortal Kombat 3, but like so bad it's like you can't even play it. It's kind of like that version on GBA of like the original Sonic the Hedgehog. It's like it doesn't even like come close to replicating like the original game. And so they gave it a -1. I don't think it was IGN that did it. I think it was EGM back in the day, but yeah, I have seen that, but I mean that's not obviously not the regular scale.
Well, yeah, that's them being like funny.
Funny, yeah, exactly. So, but don't buy this game. Don't buy it for your kids. Like, come on.
Yeah, but buy them last year's for $10 and it's the same game. You'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Another big news item. Sony lists PS4 only games that the PS5 can't play. So a partial incompatibility list. So it could play the vast majority of games. They're saying something like 99%. And I'm looking at this list. I'll read them off. It's a very small list.
Sure.
There's really nothing here that will.
Yeah, like I'm assuming, like I'm trying to imagine if it's something like, I don't even know what this would be. Something that the PS4 has, the PS5 doesn't. You know, it would be like saying, oh, well, the Xbox One is not going to play this Kinect-only game or something weird like that. Yeah.
So, Afro Samurai 2, which is considered to be one of the worst games ever made.
I actually didn't know that still existed. I didn't know it was on PS4. I'd only ever heard of it being released on Steam and being removed because it was so bad, and I don't think it ever made it back.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that game was gone. I did not realize that you could actually play that game.
Yeah, so that game is one of the worst reviewed games ever made, and that's...
Yeah, I've heard it was, like, maddeningly bad. Like, I haven't played it or seen it, but I heard it was, like, infuriatingly bad. Like, like games... You know, games get pulled in emergencies, but they come back. Like, this didn't come back.
So, that's really a shame, considering, like, Afro Samurai, both miniseries are excellent.
Well, the miniseries and the sort of OVA, but yes, they are.
Yeah, both parts.
Do you know how the first game is? Because I actually have the first game, but I haven't played it.
It's okay. It's not, like...
Okay.
It was, like, a 7 out of 10 game when it came out.
Alright, because I was going to say, like, without knowing anything about the game, I would just assume that it's, like...
It's a generic beat 'em up. It's a generic beat 'em up kind of game. It's nothing like as crazy good as like Fury or something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, come for the basic Afro Samurai concept, stay for Samuel L. Jackson and RZA.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going RZA, first of all,
just RZA. All right, fine.
It's the RZA and the Jizza.
I didn't even know what was
Wu-Tang
that.
Clan, man. Come on.
I can't believe I'm not hip with the new music, which is now old music.
RZA rapped in the 90s, man. But yeah, that's that stinks. Let me see here. DWVR, which is a fast-paced VR game, and that looks to be kind of a shame. I think this is probably the best reviewed game out of the bunch. It's an 8 out of 10 VR game.
What does DW even mean?
I don't know.
Dragon Warrior. It's a 2D NES game in
No,
VR.
it's just called DWVR. Like, its official name is DWVR.
I'm gonna have to look this up, but go ahead.
Yeah. It's well reviewed.
High-speed shooter. All right.
Yeah. I don't know what DW stands for, but anyway, that is that seems like it might be a shame, especially for people who have a PSVR over an Oculus Rift or something like that, or
sure.
a Vive. That I can understand people being upset about. Hitman Go Definitive Edition. That's on a ton of different platforms, including mobile and Steam. So you should be
odd
okay.
then that it's incompatible.
Yeah, I don't know.
I really wonder if they genuinely mean incompatible, or if it's like the Vita whitelist, where it's like it doesn't work, except it works perfectly. We're just not selling it on this platform.
Yeah, well, this is so small that I doubt it's that. It's just maybe with Afro Samurai, but
with Afro Samurai, I don't think that works on any platform.
Yeah, nah. It never worked to begin with.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hitman Go was pretty popular game, but it is by no means an essential part of the series. It's just kind of a fun mobile interpretation of Hitman in simple form. These kind of games are pretty fun, but like it's by no means like a deal breaker here. Joe's Diner, which looks to be a like Five Nights at Freddy's kind of clone. And immediately, I think this game had like a very limited print run physically, but nobody gave a shit about it. But now it's expensive because it's a PS4 only game.
Well, that's why. That's what always happens. No, like it looks bad. Nobody cares about it. It's limited print because they knew nobody would care about it. And then somebody says, "Oh, it's rare. That means it's good." Well, not that it's good, but that's rare. That means it's desirable, and the price spikes up, even though it's like some piece of shit game that you like genuinely don't want.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's basically a rip off of Five Nights at Freddy's. It looks like, so it's and not a particularly good one.
But that got a physical release.
Yes, apparently.
Okay.
Robinson the Journey. I've never heard of it.
No.
Let me see here. Shadow Complex Remastered, which is probably the best game, like definitively on this list. Which is also
that's,
a remake of
that has foreground and background elements.
Yeah, this was originally an Xbox 360 game. You can also get it for free on Epic's store, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's what
PC.
led me to create my Epic account.
Exactly, that's how I started mine.
But I no longer have one.
you shouldn't be butthurt about that one either, even though that's probably the best title here.
That was by the way, that was one that like it's not the first, but that was one of Limited Run Games' very, very early titles. Like that was the first one of their games I bought, I think.
Robinson the Journey, which is another PSVR game. I think this is one where you explore like a prehistoric island kind of thing. Let me see here. Shadwin. I bet you that's another PSVR game. I bet you they're all PSVR games. That's probably what almost all of them are going to be PSVR games. Shadwin. It's a stealth game by Frozen Byte. I've never even heard of it. It looks like it's mediocre. TT Isle of Man Ride on the Edge 2.
What?
Yeah, like I said, like nobody's going to be upset about any of these. And this is coming from somebody where I'm like, this little thing.
Now I gotta hold on to my original PS4 though for Shadow Complex and for PT.
Yeah, right.
Those two games.
Yeah, they did not list PT.
Well, no
an
shit, nobody
incompatible.
lists PT for anything because it's officially not available.
But yeah, so TT is a like a motorcycle racing game, and we sing.
Oh no,
Yeah. So
I can't believe
yeah,
it.
I mean that is not, which is a Wii, a Wii port on PS4. So yeah,
That is a very short list though.
yeah, it's a
Shadow
very
Complex
short
is
list, and
weird
there's
though. Like,
nothing too bad. I think the only one that interests me here that kind of like seems like it might be interesting is DWVR.
yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. But like, I'm still weirded out by Shadow Complex. That's just it won't
Yeah,
work. We can't figure it out.
small game too. It's like a tiny game. I don't get it. And it's a game that runs on a it runs on
Yeah,
Unreal
multiple
Engine,
platforms.
and it runs on Unreal Engine. So like, what about it doesn't work right? I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, I mean like this kind of thing is gonna happen. I mean, even when it went from PS1 to PS2, there was like some incompatibilities. Not many, so nobody really even like complains about it even to this day. But there are certain PS1 games you can't play on PS2, but nobody really complains about them.
You know what I noticed that gave me some trouble when I first started streaming it was Suikoden 1. I don't know if it's just my disc, but it runs fine, except that when you get into a fight, you hear this little like in the background. Like I thought it was a hardware thing, but nope, it's coming up on the recording, and sometimes you would like enter a building and it would go away, and when you get into a fight, it would come back and just be persistent. I don't know what that was. It was
Yeah,
bizarre.
I think Tomba 2 had some issues on PS2 as well.
Suikoden 2's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. But moving on from that, there are some other Sony items here. Sony is shutting down. It looks like Sony is shutting down the ability to buy PS3, Vita, and PSP games via browser.
Yeah, which sucks because that's like by far the most convenient way to do it.
Easiest way.
Like I don't know if any
easier.
of you have actually tried using the PS3 store on the PS3 recently, but it is like the worst, most painful process. Yeah, it is so horrible. Like, just go to the website where you don't have to put in a rounded number of money. Just say you're doing PayPal and pay the exact amount, and it's super easy. Why would you shut down the browser but like keep the horrible PS3 method available? The Vita, like shopping with the Vita, I think is pretty smooth.
It's not so bad, yeah.
But the PS3 is like just the worst. Like,
yeah,
like never do that. Even on the PS4, like you could do better, but the PS3 is like the biggest slog you've ever seen.
Its search engine is downright terrible. So I might actually buy the last few remaining PS3 games that I want, like Japan only PS3 games that I've been wanting to buy, because I want to have those, because they had a lot of really like off the beaten path like PS1 games.
Yeah. I don't know if it's still available, but I think Einhander at least used to be available via Japanese store. And again, I don't know if it's still available, but I think LSD Dream Emulator used to be.
Yeah, that was a big one. Yeah.
And that game's like stupid expensive if you want to look for a physical copy.
Yeah, you're not gonna get it. But yeah, this is really annoying because like, why even do that? Like, what are they saving?
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's not like they're shutting down the store. This is your last opportunity to buy PS3 titles. They're just shutting down the convenience store. Okay.
Yeah.
The same store that you use for everything else anyway on
my
PC?
guess is that they're overhauling their website in order to make it more friendly for PS5, purchasers, to do whatever they need to do on their website. But still, there should be like a way you could get to the legacy stuff. I don't.
Like, I mean, you don't even have to do that. Just like, even the way the store is now, when you search for a game, it's like, these are the systems it runs on. Like PS4 only, PS3 and PS4, PS3, PSP, Vita. Like, you know, like, just it's the same looking page for everything, but like, oh, just as a warning, make sure you got the right system before you buy this. Like, that's all
really
you need.
annoying. Um, Also, Sony confirms that they are unifying the X and O meanings across the
Yeah,
world, which I didn't really expect this. So in Japan, the X button on controllers has always been for canceling,
yeah.
and the circle button has always been for confirming.
And if you think about the symbols, logically that does make sense. Even from
Yes.
an American perspective, that makes sense.
But for whatever reason, they changed that when the PS1 came over to the United States, and
Well,
it's
my assumption is that the X button, which you use far more often than the circle button, is right where your thumb is.
yeah,
Like that's my assumption. Like, it's
sure.
annoying to have to move your thumb anytime you want to do anything. Like, X is just sitting right there. That's my guess.
So it's just kind of funny because they're pulling what people that are 5 generations into
Yeah,
a
20
system.
years. Over
Yeah,
20 years.
and they're fucking with their confirm and cancel buttons in Japan. I mean, this doesn't affect us, so I'm sure we don't care. But I'm sure there's going to be some Japanese people that are mildly annoyed by this, and
I'm sure
I
they're gonna be pissed. Like,
yeah,
this is seemingly out of nowhere. Like,
I
they're
mean
changing to the American style, so we're not gonna feel anything. But like, Japanese gamers are gonna be pissed.
they may even have like an option to change it to what they already know. So it may just be a default thing, but I who knows? And they could always change
I'm
that.
gonna guess they're not. I'm thinking they're just changing it.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know what's motivating it. Today's the day. I don't get it.
it's a stupid corporate decision that doesn't have much weight. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Moving on from that, this week we have the launch of Robotics Notes Elite and Dash, coming as a 2-pack game. So this is the Science and Adventure series that the branch of the Science and Adventure series that we
Yeah.
never got any games from.
Yeah, so just as a reminder, there's Chaos Head, which we actually never got. There's
Correct.
Chaos Child, which we did.
Yes.
There's Steins Gate and Steins Gate Zero, which we got, and we even got the weird little Japan-only things in Elite, like the phenogram thing and the dating app, like the 8-bit thing on
Darling
Switch.
yeah,
So we
whatever.
finally got that too. But yeah, Robotics Notes, like, it's been over 10 years, I want to say, like, since like Steins Gate, we just never got Robotics Notes, like, until now.
Yeah, so the Robotics Notes is the third game out of the 3 branches. So it was Chaos Child, or Chaos Head. I'm sorry, Chaos Head, and then Steins Gate, and then Robotics Notes, and we never got any of the Robotics Notes branch of things.
Yeah.
So they remade Robotics Notes the same way that they remade Steins Gate in Elite form, where they are including clips from the anime as part of the gameplay, and a lot of people really enjoyed what they did with that version of Steins Gate. So I'm sure this one will be just as good because I really trust Spike Chunsoft. They do really good work most of the time. I can't imagine. I can't even think of a bad game they've put out in general. But this is really good. I mean, we'll get the upgraded version of Robotics Notes that we never got, and as well as its sequel right along with it. So that's really cool. That is releasing on Switch, PC, PS4, I believe.
Yeah,
And
I pre-ordered the PS4 edition.
yeah, I pre-ordered the Switch version because that's likely where I'm going to be playing it. But I'm super excited.
That's a very good platform for playing VNs.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It fits very well. So I'm super excited. I mean, we've never gotten these, and all of their visual novels are really good, top quality. Yeah, it's great. That is coming out, I think, on the release date of this episode on the 13th. So
Yeah, I was on a Discord group, and I think somebody received their copy already, so it's not gonna be long off.
yeah, I'm expecting mine from Amazon. So
Yeah, same.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Also, what's coming on very very soon? Yeah, October 20th.
Oh yeah, there's a new roguelike coming out, and literally, new and roguelike are both false.
So, the original Rogue that was published by Epix back in 1985.
Yeah. It's old enough that the art for that game is that really cool 80s looking neon, this is what a video game looks like, a neon wireframe character. It looks fucking cool, actually.
Yeah, it does look cool. So, but yeah, I mean, this is the original ASCII progenitor of the rogue genre. So what's really funny is the tags for this game on Steam are like roguelike, a traditional roguelike. It is not a roguelike. Because there's rogue.
That's like releasing Super Metroid on Steam and saying,
calling it a Metroidvania.
Yeah, it's Metroidvania. Yeah, or releasing Demon Souls and saying it's a Souls-like. Well, all right.
I mean, it is in the sense that if you want it to be lumped in with common.
Yeah, games, it's obviously that kind of game because it set the standard. It's literally, it's not roguelike because it is rogue.
Yeah, it invented all of the basically infrastructure that you know of for any roguelike or game.
Well, I was going to mention regarding roguelite and stuff like that, if you're used to Isaac and Gungeon and stuff like that, don't think that you're necessarily ready for Rogue, because this is
Rogue is also the hardest.
Yeah, Rogue, not roguelite. Roguelike is when you lose just about everything. When you die. Baroque is between light and like, where there is an overall progression, but your character loses everything, and the next time you enter the dungeon, you have to start at level 1 with no equipment. You can transfer a couple things manually, so that's where it borders light territory. But in Rogue, the game is over. Start again.
Yeah,
and the dungeons are randomly generated, so you can't just get good. A lot of the roguelikes are like that anyway, where you don't know the map. But with Rogue, once you die, the game is over. Start over. It's over.
Really, the global progression is what you've learned along the way with these with a game like this. So you're not going to be carrying your gold or anything like that. You're not going to have any story progression or anything like that in this game. You have permadeath, but maybe you have learned some of the quirks of the game along the way that will better prepare you for the next time, but still you may not fare well, because a lot of what determines whether you can get through this is going to be luck, not just your wits.
Well, it's like a lot of Isaac and Gungeon runs. They're skill based, but sometimes you just get better power ups than others.
Yep. And sometimes you're going to get murdered by a whole room of rats or something.
That's another thing. Yeah, there's bad RNG as well. Whoops, this room is just hard. Sorry, maybe next time it won't be.
Yeah. So I believe this is going to be free.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. They have not done much to it, which is what you want out of this, because first of all, it's free, and
I was hoping it would be remade as an over-the-shoulder game.
Yeah, but what's cool? What I mean is they don't really give you any niceties. They haven't updated anything really.
Yeah, normally you would want that. We're past the age where you have to draw your map on graph paper. Just give me a damn map. But with this game, the whole point is the bare bones aspect of it.
Yeah, you can play any number of roguelites or likes that have.
Yeah, this is the only game that is precisely this way.
Yeah, I mean, this is even more brutal than NetHack, which is also very brutal and of the same genre.
It's even more brutal than Baroque.
Yeah.
I could tell because I beat Baroque.
Yeah.
The fact that I beat it means that it's capable of being beaten.
I think the only global elements are... I think there are some, like, you can find... like corpses, I think, or you can find tombstones of previous runs or something like that.
Yeah, that's clever.
Yeah, but I don't think there is anything else that's kind of the point of it. It was the permadeath game, you know.
Yeah.
But it's really neat. It's really neat. That you can play it on a modern system and all that. I believe it does have some coloring, which may or may not have been accurate depending on when you played it.
Yeah, were you playing on a color monitor back in the day?
Probably not. Probably you were using a black and white.
Yeah, like I think I've mentioned this before, but when I was in the 3rd grade, there was the little computer station for a couple kids to use every once in a while. But there were 2 computers, and one of the monitors was black and white, and one of them was color. And like I thought that like certain games were just in black and white or just in color. Like I tried putting Number Munchers in the color computer just to see what would happen. Like, and it had colors. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, some of those games released back then would even have like 2 entirely different versions of the game.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like Game Boy games. Like if you put them in a Game Boy Color, it doesn't really count. It's like you could change the colors, like make the grass green and the sky blue. That's good enough for you. But there were some games that were designed afterward that had the Game Boy Color in mind, so they had proper coloring.
Exactly.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah. So I just thought that was a neat thing, a cool thing to talk about. Also, the Darius Cozmic Revelation collection, that is the game with Darius and Darius, what is it?
Darius was the PS1 game, right?
It's the game that did come out on PS1.
Like the faux 3D one.
Yeah, like a 2.5D.
Yeah, where you had those where you're like gathering the enemy's laser and shooting it back at them.
Fantastic, such a good.
Yeah. You can make such
mechanic.
Stupidly huge lasers.
Yeah, so good. And then this one also includes Darius Burst Chronicles Saviors as well. So the last 2 major entries in the series that have not gotten that were not included in the previous collection. They are also offering in Japan as an Amazon exclusive, kind of like what they did with the previous one, where they gave you the Game Boy one if you pre-ordered it through Amazon during Prime Week. They will be giving you a special code for Darius Extra for the Mega Drive, which is an updated version of the new port of Darius that they put on the Mega Drive Mini.
Interesting.
So yeah, a brand new version of a brand new port of an old game.
I can't wait for people to try to calculate or collate the Darius series like 10 years from now. Like, what the fuck happened here?
Also, why would you want to play that version? It is cool that they made a new port for an old system, but like we have arcade perfect ports of this that already, you know, like. I'd rather play like the 3-screen version, that like in the arcade that was intended. But
I don't know. You gotta have that Mega Drive soundtrack though.
Well, it was programmed by M2, so they know what's up. They have also they also announced that they will be coming out with a physical cartridge of this very same version of the game. Through Columbus Circle, which is an independent like cartridge producer in Japan. So they have had kind of a shoddy past. Like some of their releases have not been like the best. Like they aren't the right voltage. Like the perfect voltage for
putting into your system
with your Genesis or Mega Drive.
Yeah, normally when we talk about bad ports, we talk about how we wish they had more features, not that they'll fry your fucking electronics.
Well, it's one of those deals where it's outside of specs, so it'll work, but like it has a possibility of putting too much strain on your system over time. So yeah, it's one of those things. But yeah, I mean, it's coming out for people who want that kind of thing. I won't be buying from Columbus Circle because they've had a bad track record. And I would have probably bought a physical copy of this just because, like, out of all the, like, I didn't want a Genesis Mini, even though this was like the major thing that I wanted from it was this unique ROM. So I may still just be pirating this one because I hate to say that, like right off the bat, but like release it properly and easily, and without like a stupid pre-order from Amazon only in Japan. What are you doing? I don't get why they keep doing this. But anyway, you have a final thing here for the end of the show.
Kind of two things actually, but one of them is really quick because we don't know terribly much about it, but there's going to be a Godzilla anime series.
Gojira?
Pardon me. I was talking with my pleb Western pronunciation, but there's going to be a Godzilla...
Matthew Broderick... That version.
Matthew Broderick, the anime, which we kind of already got. There was that Fox Kids cartoon.
Actually, that was pretty good. Believe it.
I've heard it was surprisingly decent. Yeah. But the Godzilla Singular Point is coming out next year, and I mean we can't show this because it's a podcast. But look up the drawing of Godzilla, because you know how Godzilla always has he always looks slightly different in each movie, whether it's the costume or whether it's just like the basic design and like the new movies. The new Godzilla design looks freaking badass, and it's got some like the people who are producing the anime have some clout behind them. So that's an interesting concept, a straight up anime series.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the kind of the style of Big Guy and Rusty the Boy Robot.
Oh, geez. Okay. I think I've seen you had like a comic of that. But
that it started off as a comic, and I mean the comic, not the cartoon show. That was based on a Frank Miller comic of the kids' TV show, based off of a Frank Miller comic. Who knew? But yeah, it's like super like it's so defined. It has so many lines. In its drawing to define him. That's a really cool way to display Godzilla. That's really cool.
Yeah, it looks badass. And the only other thing I wanted to point out, not about the Godzilla, the only other, this isn't a story, it's just funny, is Hideki Naganuma, the Jet Set Radio guy?
Oh, do I know him? He is the most popular ship poster on the internet.
But, well, did you hear about his latest one? Because... This has to break all the records. Somebody had made a post to him where like somebody had said, "I'm Hideki Nakanuma's cat girl. Any problems?" And he was like, "Not at all." And then that person, a different person, responded to him, "Place your bets, everyone. Which one is Mr. Naganuma taking home tonight?" And there were pictures of like two like gorgeous women with like the cat ears, and then the third one was like the CEO of Sega, because it's just like a joke for like the Jet Set Radio thing. And Naganuma replied, "I don't need the CEO of Sega." And then after that he retweeted his own post 3 minutes later, and like I almost cried, like, because this was unprompted. He retweeted his post that said, "I don't need the CEO of Sega," and then he said, "The CEO of Sega is super weak. I could beat him in a fight." It's like, what? Like, thanks.
I love it.
It's just like, what? It's just like, that's hilarious.
Yep.
And like, and all the responses are like, "Oh damn! Like, now there's no way you're getting Jet Set Radio future ported." It was like the funniest shit.
I want to hear this. He has 135,000 followers.
Because he's fucking hysterical. Who is he taking home? "I don't need the CEO of Sega."
But I want to hear the stats on the people that follow him that have no idea what he's famous for.
Because he's fucking funny anyway.
Yeah.
Like, he's talking about Family Guy and shit.
Oh yeah, and he has, like,
I
the
could beat up the
concept
CEO of
of Family
Sega
Guy.
in a fight. What? That's great.
It's so good. It's so good.
I can beat him in a fight? What the fuck is this? And the CEO of Sega, like, never prompted any of this. He didn't start anything. Like, somebody just posted a picture of him to him. It was like, I can beat him in a fight.
Somebody set up, like, a troll account that said the CEO of Sega, and that was what he initially was responding to.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, he's responding to John Sega, CEO of Sega.
Well, no, but that's funny anyway. But like, that's not the thing I was referring to. When somebody posted the pictures of him,
yeah,
the pictures
that's
of the cat girls.
That picture,
like the person who posted that was Daithy Luck. Like, which one is Mr. Naganuma taking home tonight? And like, posted 3 pictures, and one of them.
I understand that, but that picture that is supposed to represent the CEO of Sega is from that troll account. It's not the actual CEO of Sega.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant a troll posted.
It is actually from John Sega, CEO of Sega, at John Sega 5.
Okay, that's pretty great. But yeah, he's super weak. I could beat him in a fight. That's just like the funniest shit.
And then John Sega, CEO of Sega, responded, "I'm no governor, but I could beat the CEO of beating you in a fight."
What? That's amazing.
It's just amazing.
Post your workout routine, Mr. Naganuma. This is so good. I don't know what's happening here, but Hideki makes good music, so I'm on his side. Can you beat me in a fight, Hideki? This is amazing.
He complains like all the time about like not having a girlfriend. It's really funny. He's just like, I am single. I am horny tonight. Like,
do you think your dad could beat John Sega's dad in a fight? Like, this shit is just funny to me.
And he has all kinds of e-girls reply with like scantily clad pictures.
Yeah, like, it's hysterical.
It's so funny.
This guy's just like a living shitpost.
Somebody posted like a picture of a Dreamcast controller with a VMU with Peter Griffin on it.
That's very on brand.
So good. He is one of the funniest people on Twitter, and
he's like Japanese Wint. Like, he's not that far, but he's very funny.
Yeah, I mean,
nobody is Wint. Old Man Stompy informed me that somebody made like a bot that was designed to post like Wint, and you literally cannot tell the difference.
You can't.
Wint like himself is probably a fucking bot. I don't know how that guy
exists. He's getting more and more topical. Wint is getting
that is true. That is true.
Topical. He's been posting.
That's the only thing that makes me realize he's a human, is that he's topical, because his posts are fucking bizarre.
Yeah, like I walked into a Dairy Queen yesterday and I shat all over them or something. Like, say something.
Yeah,
like
well,
that.
I mean, one of his most famous ones is like, no, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to like. What was it like? I'm gonna turn around and walk. I'd rather turn around and walk backwards into hell, or like that was like his most iconic post, which like I think Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise referenced in a trophy, which was if you reverse in your vehicle for X distance, the trophy is drive backwards into hell. I was like, what? It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, just follow him. He's one of the best Twitter accounts that you can follow. It's
just unprovoked. I could beat the CEO of Sega in a fight. He's weak.
He has like so many people interact with him on a daily basis too. It's
yeah. I mean, like, why would you not?
Yeah, no. He reacts to pretty much like he responds to a lot of people too. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, again, like that. This whole thing started because he responded to somebody. Like, can I be your cat girl? Like, I'm okay with this. Which one of these is he taking home tonight? I don't need the CEO of Sega. Like, okay.
And he even like retweets and tweets like this Hideki Naganuma like inspirational photo
nice.
with different quotes on it, and he puts something different all the time. Like, eat what you want, eat as much as you want to get fat.
All right.
There's one. I just want to be your lover, Hideki Naganuma.
Well, then you have to meet my friends. Hey.
But yeah, he's just so funny. But any other things for the good of the order?
I think that was it, because you can't top that.
We mined everything here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that is the show for this week. Please remember to subscribe to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube and SoundCloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs up likes and 5-star ratings on iTunes. It helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of the encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on Thursday for our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, and we will be doing another episode on PS1 classics, this time some culty items. And you can friend me as vysethebold on pretty much everything.
And you could follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, I believe I'm going to beat Castlevania 64 this upcoming time. Selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play. Yeah, I see you've played Castlevania. So getting in exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, which I'm currently working on Alan Wake, or getting in conversations with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/LotusPrince.
All right, everybody. We'll catch you then.
Until next time, everyone.
Bye-bye.